You're listening to Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. Two friends since first grade, now dads reliving the Disney movies we grew up on with our own kids. I'm JB Wagner.
And I'm Eddie Ferguson. And on today's episode, we venture out of the Shadowlands and into the Pride Lands to learn about the circle of life as we review The Lion King. But first, JB, how are you? How's the fam?
We are good now. Let's just say that recently was not a good. Basically, the moment after we recorded our last episode,
Yes.
which we batched a few of them in a row because someone was going to be out of town for a little bit.
Yeah.
And you talked about snow and you talked about ice.
Prophetic.
You were completely prophetic in the worst way possible.
Well, let's not give myself too much credit. I wasn't prophetic. I had just looked at weather reports and you hadn't.
You called it that.
You got everything.
We got the worst of every. We had the exact. Basically, go back and listen to episode 24 of our podcast, and you will get a play-by-play of what happened before it happened. Because there was the wintry mix that you so eloquently talked about in Nashville. Because I talked about how I hated the snow, and you're like, well, it's worse in Nashville because you get the wintry mix there. Got the wintry mix, then we got the snow on top of it. I actually forced my way into work 3 times that week. And only one time did I regret actually going in because on the way home, it got really bad. It was ice. It was sleet. It was all of the bad things that happened. And in fact, it got so bad that I just recently found out that I think the guard under my car, because of scraping the ice, was ripped off and was taken away. I just found that out because there was something making a weird noise. Had my friend pop it up on at his house. And he was like, the guard's completely ripped off of this, right? It was so bad. It was so annoying. I hate it. I thought I had gotten rid of this back in 2011 when I left for California and it followed me to Nashville. But there was a silver lining because my kids loved it. They loved every second of the snow. They loved being out in it.
Is this the first time they've really ever experienced like a ton of snow?
Yes, a really good snow because we've had other little light drifting, drizzlings, little powdered sugar on stuff.
I love this hand motion of.
So yes, no, this was their first real. I mean, especially for my daughter, but for my son, was great. And the way that we didn't have any gloves for them. So my wife's ingenious plan was to take my socks and just put it on their hand. Mm-hmm. So they're outside wearing my socks and they're using it as little mittens to grab snow and to play around. And no, they had a ball, Eddie, but
had she experienced a massive snowstorm like this?
My wife, no.
Yeah,
my wife had not. She had gone up to Big Bear, living in California. She had gone up to Big Bear,
but this was a
snow happened. No,
this was a ton of snow. Yeah,
no, and she did not. She willingly opted to not drive the whole time that we were out there, or that we were experiencing it. But no, it was too much for me, Eddie. I was not in a good mood most of that week. And now it's all gone. And it was 70 degrees yesterday. So
it's all gone.
There we go.
Oh my. And you have family down in Texas, as
yes, they hit my parents hard down in Austin, hit my family up in Dallas as well. A few of my family members had no power for a little bit, but luckily everyone, I think the people who had it hit the worst, had fireplaces in their buildings, so it worked out okay, but it was definitely crazy.
I knew it was bad because when it's usually just like a little bit, I get the best jokes from your dad about how Texans don't know snow. He'll usually send me some memes or comparisons.
Yep.
And this time I got nothing. So I was
it
like,
was intense.
oh, it's got to be serious. There's no jokes coming. So
it was no joke down there. But
Oh,
luckily it is all gone. Hopefully, fingers crossed, whatever I have to do to Hail Marys, I don't know, whatever, that we will not be having any more of that this year, and hopefully not for the next 10 years. That'd be great.
We'll see.
We shall see.
The entire country was below 30.
That's insane.
Only southern parts of Florida did not. So yeah, that was a pretty crazy storm. But
this is crazy. Is this movie that we're going to be reviewing today? It's a goodie. It's a classic.
I thought you were going to say, you know what else is crazy is that there's really no big news to talk about.
That's why we're having to pivot, because we kind of given you everything, and other than just what did we think about the latest WandaVision episode. But
yeah, we're not going to do that to you.
We do have Raya coming out this weekend in
that
theaters.
Is true.
Actually, we do have that
in theaters, or you can get it on Premier Access.
You can pay less to go see it in a theater, in a company theater designed for the full grand experience, or you can pay extra, probably 2 or 3 times as much money, to have it in your home where your kids are running around and screaming and pulling on you, and is
we know what
desirable.
JB's choosing.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go by myself to the theater. I am that guy. I'm that guy.
Yes, but if you get it on Premier Access, you get like unlimited watches of it until it comes out for free. So, and then you get unlimited watches.
You can go. I'm looking at matinee prices right now. Earlier today, it was $7.99 in my area to go see it. You can literally go see it almost 4 times in theaters. Like I said, with the perfect,
it's like $30
experience.
Right?
It's $30. Yeah. You can see it almost 4 times before. Like if you're watching it that many times. Yeah.
And I'm just being facetious and the devil's advocate here, because I'm going to go just see it in theaters. I'm not going to.
We were both going to go see it.
Not going to mess with it. I'm going to go to the local theater here with their big digital, Dolby Atmos theater. Like, get my giant bucket of popcorn, get my soda.
Is this the first movie worth going to see in theaters since Tenet? I believe it is, in September.
The only movie we have seen in theaters since Tenet was Wonder Woman.
Oh, that's right.
Which I'm not sure meets your criteria of being worth going to see.
No. I that's why I skipped over that in my brain.
It did
I did
garner us to go out. Like, we're like, okay, there's a movie to go see.
No, you're right. It was a movie, a big spectacle film to go see in theaters, and it's probably the better place to see that movie, because at home I doubt that it would have garnered that much.
You probably would have turned it off.
No.
Because Wonder Woman, to its credit, has a fun score. Like, I love the music of that movie. So to hear it like on the big speakers and everything is like,
just turn your eyes off, just listen to the score, or listen to it at home.
And I mean, I'm a big fan of movie scores, but it's bad when like the only compliment I can give a movie is like, well, it has a good score.
Yes.
It's like, bless their heart, their personality is, just special.
They're such a nice person.
So yes, Raya comes out this week. I'm excited.
Disney animation, right? Not Pixar. It's Disney animation.
Right, Disney animation. This is their first one since Frozen 2, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. The initial drafts of this, they had actually it was gonna like come out as almost like a PG-13 level movie, like the level of fighting and violence and stuff, and then they pared it back. So
interesting.
Yeah, and then the other thing that did drop, did you see you mentioned Pixar, and this made me think of it. Luca. Did you see the trailer for Luca?
I've not seen the new trailer for Luca.
This is
the Italian one.
This is the full. I think it's Italian. Yeah.
Italy.
Yeah, you need to see it though. It's interesting. It's Pixar. It's like, oh, you think it's this story, and then oop.
Little did you know.
Little did you know. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil that so you can watch it because it's kind of like, huh? What?
Well, cool. Well, enough about that. Let's give the people what they paid for, which is nothing. But we shall still give them a good...
You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. We will give them a rousing adventure listening to us talk about one of the pinnacle movies of the Disney decade, which is 1990s. But the movie is The Lion King.
Cue the Disney sound effect. What?
That's my rendition of it.
Is that Buddy's favorite part of the whole podcast?
Yes. No, he's an avid listener, and
I saw the picture.
That. Okay, IMDb. Let's hope that you do a much better job than you did on D2, because that sucked.
Oh, yes. That was awful.
Okay, IMDb description.
Can you do this in your best? You got to either go Mufasa or Scar.
Mufasa. Lion Prince Simba and his father, me, are targeted by his bitter uncle, who wants to ascend to the throne. This is wrong. Who wants to ascend the throne himself. Not very good, but whatever. That's fine.
It was much better than I would have done it.
Yeah. But the text here, it's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't like stir me up that much. You get
So you said pinnacle movie.
I said one of the pinnacle movies of the decade.
Well, it depends on your metric. If you're using money as a metric, which Disney definitely does, this is the pinnacle. This is the highest grossing traditional animation film of all time. And then even if you just like kind of include computer 3D, it's still within the top 10. And the remake they now classify as the highest grossing animated film of all time, because that pretty much was animated. It's not live action.
Yeah, we're gonna have to hold off on the remake for a
while.
Let's keep as much positivity.
Push
flowing.
it back.
We're just gonna push that, kind of like what I've done to my memory of it, to the far back reaches of my mind. No, that Eddie, we can't go much farther without talking about the cast for this. Is insane.
So
it's completely insane.
So help me with this. When it comes to Disney animated films, you had Robin Williams in Aladdin, but I think this is the first time that they just went, get everybody. Just get them all.
Yes. There's 7. There's 1, 2. They're 10 people deep, counting who wrote the music, before you have to get to no-name actors in this. It's insane.
Well, while let's just begin with the most important, right? And that, of course, I know you're a big fan of her, Maura Kelly, the voice of Nala, is one of your favorite actresses. She portrayed one of your favorite TV characters of all time.
What?
You don't... Maura Kelly.
I don't know that we're on the same wavelength, Eddie.
Oh, your favorite character from The West Wing, Mandy, in season 1?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even have her on the list because she's not like a big name player.
Well,
but this is our West Wing reference. Okay.
Yes, there's always a West Wing reference. Let's get that out of the way. That's why I'm just getting it out of the way. I had never put that together, and the whole time I was watching it this time, I'm going, I know her voice. Why do I know that voice? Why does Nala seem annoying to me? And I'm like, it dawned on me, no way. There is the West Wing reference. Of course, she plays Mandy Hampton from the first season of the West Wing, which is everybody's like least favorite character that Sorkin has ever written.
He brings back a lot of characters throughout this. That one they did.
No, she disappears. You never see her. She
disappears.
Again.
She's gone. No, but let's talk about the rest of the cast.
Let's talk about the rest of the cast.
Jeremy Irons as Scar is breathtaking. I could listen to him talk all day.
I wonder.
Don't even go opposite of this.
No, I wonder. So let's just pause and talk Disney villains. I think he's my favorite Disney villain. As we were watching,
who's up there on the anti-Mount Rushmore?
I mean, you've got Ursula. Ursula's a really good Disney villain. I'm a big 101 Dalmatians fan, so I like Cruella, which the live action with Emma Stone's coming out. That looks cool, but Jafar. He's not that great. He doesn't even have a villain song.
Doesn't have a villain song. Is your criteria?
But Scar, I mean, Jeremy Irons, his voice acting in this is phenomenal. But then even just the animation and the way that they animate and play with the character is so much fun. And I would say Be Prepared is my favorite villain song. I don't know if I could say it's the best villain song because Poor Unfortunate Soul's pretty amazing.
Yes.
But this might be this is definitely my favorite villain song. It's probably the villain song I would go back and listen to the most.
Yes, I would agree. I don't have anything enlightening to bring to the subject other than yes, solid approval, please. Standing ovation. The entire scene with him and the hyenas is just so good. It's why seeing the live action one made it so bad. But the colors and the all the different levels of things happening, it's just breathtaking.
The art direction. We will get to art direction.
We will save. So let's keep on going through. So,
but I do love Jeremy Irons' voice. We did a tour of Westminster Abbey in London, and you get these little audio headphones, and it's Jeremy Irons, and you just like for 2 hours, it's him telling you the history of like the Western world. I'm booking
my plane tickets right now to go.
I was just like, I could listen to his voice all day. So Jeremy Irons. Yep. We love him. Scar, best.
Yep. We can't go much farther. We were going out Mufasa.
Say it again.
James Earl Jones and some Darth Vader in here.
So good. He's the only one that repeats in the live action.
That's right. I forgot about that he actually does
the voice
come back into it. That's a whole nother podcast in of itself, just the two of their voices. This is a surprising one. I didn't know this one. So Zazu. You know who does Zazu? It's
Rowan Atkinson.
It's Mr. Bean. Rowan Atkinson. Did not remember that at all. It's great.
I love Rowan Atkinson. I think he is one of the funniest human beings of all time.
Calm down.
No.
Just simmer down.
If you need any proof, go to the opening of the London Olympics. Okay,
they did use him for that, didn't they?
The London Symphony Orchestra plays the theme to Chariots of Fire, right? One of the greatest, British films, and they have Rowan Atkinson as the guy on the piano doing the da 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 da, and he takes that single action for 6 minutes and turns it into just comic gold and genius. So Rowan Atkinson, amazing. And even as I was re-listening, Zazu has so many fun little play on words that they just lean into and enjoy so much that, so good.
We will agree to disagree on how funny Mr. Bean is, but anyways, we will continue.
You don't think he's funny?
I don't like that type of humor. That's just like
the physical,
like the just complete idiot that can't tie his shoelaces without falling on his face.
That's not Mr. Bean. That's not Mr. Bean.
I cannot.
But that's not Mr. Bean.
I cannot stand that kind of dumb humor.
Have you seen the clip that I just talked about?
Pretty sure I have. I'm pretty sure we watched. We sat down and we watched.
There's no pretty sure. I am getting on YouTube right now.
Send it to me. I'll watch it next episode. I will either come back with my own thoughts or we'll come back with groveling on my hands. Apparently, it's that good.
Love Rowan Atkinson.
Okay, send it to me. We'll talk about it. Anyways, moving on. We got Nathan Lane as Timon. We got Whoopi Goldberg as Shenzi, one of the hyenas.
You're just rattling them off.
Okay, we got to keep going. This is we can't stay on this all day. We got Cheech as Bonsai, the hyena. We got John. All the music was done by Elton John. He was one of the writers for the songs.
Hold on. You skipped over one of the hyenas.
What's the other hyena? I don't remember.
Jim Cummings.
That's right, Jim Cummings. I forgot.
Who is the voice of like Winnie the Pooh?
Yes.
He we could list forever, but he is like Disney legend. Does so many Darkwing Duck. He does Pete. He does so many great characters there.
We also got Matthew Broderick as the older Simba. Forgot completely about Matthew Broderick being in here. But of course, we can't.
But they don't have him sing. I looked this up. He's not the singer.
He's not the singer.
They got some rock singer, is what Wikipedia calls it.
Some rock singer.
Joseph Williams. But
gotcha.
Yeah. But sorry, I interrupted.
But it's okay. The final actor that we have in here that I purposely saved for last was JTT, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Heartthrob
for the 90s.
All the young ladies out there of the 90s, all the millennials are just like, they hear somebody's talking about JTT and they're sensing it right now. I asked my wife about this, if she was super excited. She said she loves her some JTT, but she actually has more thoughts when it comes to the movie Tom and Huck, because in this movie, you can only hear him. You can't see him. She would much rather see him. So that's why.
But
this is fine. It's good to hear him a little bit, but I see that you have found Mr. Bean and sent it to me. Okay, cool. So JTT rounds up.
Just look at the picture.
Oh no.
On the link.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Yep, that's exactly what I am envisioning is what's happening.
So good.
No, I mean it's insane. It's insane the cast on this film, this animated film where they're not even showing their faces at all. Just the sheer magnitude, and that it's got to be one of the not secret ingredients, but primary ingredients for why this film was so good. Because even if you think about all of the tones and the way they performed each of these, it was perfect. Like the youngness of Jonathan Taylor Thomas, the kind of, we think of Matthew Broderick probably now as this older guy, but at the time he would have been a lot younger and had that kind of like young up and coming voice. The iconic Nathan Lane in there, Whoopi, Cheech, like all of these voices were so clear cut, like, yes, this is the voice for this.
Yeah, and I think the reason why, so if you look at things like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, you're seeing the American musical come to animation.
Yes.
When we get to The Lion King, you cannot go any further without making the comparison to Shakespeare. Like, it is very Shakespearean in its overall tone, right?
And also in the story itself, yeah.
The story itself is Hamlet, more or less. They try and say, well, it's it's Hamlet. And so when you're pulling a tone of story like something like Hamlet, you need the gravitas in the actors.
Yep.
And that's what they go for. They get that higher level. And I think that's why you had to have the voice, but it also works because the material is kind of behind it as well.
And as far as I remember, this film was kind of floundering in the pre-production, in the writing, in the storytelling, until someone made the connection. Oh, this is Hamlet in Africa, and that completely changed the dynamic of it, and it just soared from then on.
Yeah, as I read and looked at it, a lot of this was there wasn't going to be any music. It was kind of going to be a National Geographic Bambi style story. The original title was The King of the Jungle. And as best as I can put it together, it looks like when Rob Minkoff came on as one of the co-directors, that's when it all began to shift. But prior, like, there's a whole bunch of things out there on the internet where, like, the animators, they were doing The Lion King and Pocahontas at the same time. And all the animators were fighting to be on Pocahontas. They didn't want to be on Lion King because they thought, this movie is going to be awful. There's no way I want to be a part of it. They thought Pocahontas was going to be the huge hit, and it ended up being the opposite. And I think another big part of it is, so you get the story, and the story's kind of well established, but then they get the music, right? And the music with Elton John, Tim Rice, and Hans Zimmer.
That's
holy
incredible.
cow.
Remind me about Tim Rice. Remind me about him.
So Tim Rice comes out of Broadway. He was also the guy that they brought in to help Menken finish the songs on Aladdin when Howard Shore passed away.
Okay, gotcha.
Not Howard Shore, Howard Ashman.
Yeah.
When Howard Ashman passed away. So he had kind of done that. And it was Tim Rice that they brought in to write the lyrics. And Tim Rice was like, you know what we ought to do? We ought to bring in Elton John. And they're like, oh no, that's crazy, everything. But now, you see, like, he writes Circle of Life, Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
And then he sings it in the ending credits.
Right. Those kind of go down as some of the best songs. And, they, one of the two, I can't remember which one, won the Academy Award for Best Original Song that year. And Howard keep saying Howard Shore, I don't know why. Hans Zimmer, I think he won for that score. I can't remember, but yeah.
It's incredible. No matter which way you put it, it was incredible.
No.
Eddie, what were some of one of your favorite nostalgic moments from rewatching this again?
So that's kind of where I get to the art direction, right? There is some unique, like the vibrancy of color.
Yes,
is what really stirs that nostalgia. And I think there's two kind of key scenes. Of course, the opening scene, like, that's just
gives me chills just thinking about it.
Oh,
and performance of it, but yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful that, like, man, this is just hand drawn and colored, like, this is phenomenal. And then I think the second scene that's very nostalgic, and a lot of it to do with the art direction, is the I Just Can't Wait to Be King, with just kind of the multicolored animals and how they kind of go for that grand kind of dreamlike sequence of, I don't know, that those are probably the two most. I could go on more and more.
And that's why I think the Elephant Graveyard becomes so intense, because it's devoid of a lot of that when they're first going into it and they get stuck in there, because it's like so dark and dreary that it just like sucks that out of you. Now, granted, they then took it and made it a whole nother thing with the greens and purples and stuff for Scar's song, but it's
that's such a good point. Like, that you get
all the colors would not be up.
Yeah, the playing of the colors is just so cool.
Speaking of the Scar's song, we can't miss out on all of the Nazi and Hitler iconography as they're like marching across and turning their head sideways. Just like, well, there's a Hitler reference right there. There's some Nazi stuff right there. I had to take a little shot.
Yeah, any kind of dictator-ish type of feel there.
Yeah, exactly.
But was this a big movie for you growing up?
Oh yeah,
did you guys watch
we wore that. We wore this VHS out.
Yeah,
we wore it completely out. The box was smashed from all the times we just like pulling it out, playing it out, playing. We wore this thing out.
This I also remember, and I can't remember one of the early kind of. It wasn't a Nintendo Game Boy. It was like the Sony Dreamcast version. It was just kind of a smaller. And what was the name of that thing?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I had a blue one, and one of my favorite games to play on that was the Lion King game. And you played through all the levels were each of the songs to a certain degree. And that is one of the things that I just so distinctly remember is with that game playing through the elephant graveyards, and you're trying to avoid hopping on those little hot pot things or hot geyser things.
Sega Genesis?
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know that that's the handheld.
I'm pretty sure. I think it is.
Oh, I think I see something. Sega Game Gear?
Game Gear. That's exactly it.
This is so many feelings right now watching this.
I spent hours on my Sega Game Gear playing the Lion King game. Like my two favorites was like the Lion King game, and then I had a Sonic the Hedgehog game that was glorious.
Was this the year that I forget? Was this the year that we met?
No, we would have been friends before this.
Okay. Couldn't remember if we were first grade or I couldn't remember if this was second grade when it came out or first grade when it came out.
We were in second grade when this came out.
Okay. Gotcha. Just had to remember myself. I remember what grade we met. I just couldn't remember what grade this came out because I did not see this in theaters. We weren't.
I did not see this in theaters either. We still have not gotten to my first movie in the theaters.
There's so many fun one-liners in this film. A lot of them having to do with Zazu. It's Mr. Banana Beak to you. His little there's so many fun. Speaking of songs, there's so many fun little other songs. Like you've got the grand big production songs, but you got the little ones that they're just like humming and hawing about the whole series of 3 songs that Zazu sings where it's like nobody knows the trouble lives, and then he goes into It's a Small World or Small World.
No, not that song.
Anything but that song. And then he goes, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Like just that
hippity hop.
Then you've got all the songs that Timon and Pumbaa sing with like Owe,
in the jungle, we better stop before we get copyrighted.
Exactly. Rafiki's song Asanta Sana Squash Banana. And then the Decoy song, Are You Aching for Some Bacon? Like that whole thing.
Are you aching for some bacon?
There's so many. There's so many. There's like
too. Oi.
Yep. There's so many fun secondary songs that like we're not going to have a full preparate, but it's just like they're humming it or they're singing it or it's just like in the moment. I forgot about all of the little things that were in that.
We are missing one of the most significant songs of the whole film, and that, of course, is Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
You're talking about one-liners where it's like, it's our motto. What's a motto? I don't know. What's the matter with you? No, but I mean, that's kind of an iconic song of the movie as well. Like, and Hakuna Matata is kind of in one of those upper stratospheres of like, I don't know, like Disney, I hate not mottos, but yeah, like just almost like merchandising lines. Like it's just like there's Hakuna Matata everything. And I know that there was actually a legal battle where Disney tried to trademark the phrase Hakuna Matata, and somebody sued them because they're like, you can't trademark 2 words of a language, like
Yeah.
and I think that they lost, and that it's no longer like they can't trademark that and have sole use over the phrase Hakuna Matata.
That sounds about like a little bit Disney going a couple steps too
Sure.
far.
Yeah.
A couple steps too far. But anyways, back to what we were talking about here. I found a few in some of the dialogue and stuff, a couple references to Star Wars in here that I hadn't seen before. When she says, "Help us, Simba, you're our only hope." When she comes back together, it's like, wait a minute.
Do you think that's intentional, or
I don't know. It may they might have been courting Disney a little bit early. Then they also come back a little bit later when they say the Return of the King, which thinks of the Return of the Jedi. So, or Lord of the Rings. You never know which one. I saw those a couple random things that I remember seeing. Anyways.
Who stands out as favorite characters?
Zazu, of course. And just anytime you're around Timon and Pumbaa, it's a good time.
Yeah, I would say those as well. And I think that kind of speaks to I think that is one of the things, honestly, that I enjoy a lot about Shakespeare. Is he always has fun, crazy side characters. Like a good Shakespeare play is all on who these side characters are. Sure, the main characters kind of drive the storyline, but what makes it fun and intriguing and kind of carries the story along more and more is that these little just in and out side characters. And I think they represent that so well.
I would have some comments on that, but I almost never, ever, ever read Shakespeare. So that's
I was an usher for the Chicago Shakespeare Theater all through college, so I was able to see a ton.
It's gonna name drop right there. I got you.
Love it. I'm gonna.
It's gonna
name drop. It was a job. It's not my fault. You went to college in the middle of a cornfield, and I chose a city.
I think both of those are purposeful, but
you're the introvert. I'm the extrovert.
Exactly. A line that my son really loved was "Cactus Butt."
Yes,
that was one of my son's favorite lines. He's seen it before, but man, he just loved watching this film, and everything with Timon and Pumbaa. He was cackling at.
So we're gonna get to what we've postponed, but I think the one of my favorite things that they do in this is during the Hakuna Matata is you've got the withholding of saying fart by Pumbaa and Timon saying no, not in front of the kids.
Yep.
Like that kind of imaginative kind of play, like I always thought that moment was so funny. Like not saying it is funnier than saying it, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that so let me tell you, the 2019 remake, whatever we want to call it, live action or whatever they want to say, it's just the remake. I saw it, okay, here it comes. All right, yeah, they're doing all of them. We're doing all of them. The moment I heard the new version of Hakuna Matata, that they say fart, that they don't take that, they don't use it, use the joke the way that it is in the original. I was like, I'm done. No, I'm not going to see it.
Did you stop the movie right then and not?
No.
It?
I didn't even start the movie. I had watched like the week before it came out. They released that song like on YouTube as like a teaser. And so I just watched that like 2.5 minutes, and it was so deplorable to me that I said, no, this, and it's been what, through almost 3 years, 2.5 years, and I have not seen it, and I will not see that.
There's a soapbox under Eddie's seat right now, and he is standing tall and proud on this.
I am the biggest Disney fan of anyone out there, but like this whole remake thing, like I was just having this conversation with a friend. There's only been one of them that I've actually really, really liked. And a few where I'm like, okay, that was enjoyable. Most of them I'm like, no, just don't. Stay away from them. And The Lion King was one where I'm just like, I'm not even going to watch it. It took me years to see the Beauty and the Beast one. And I was just like, I regretted it the moment I finished it. It's like, this is awful. Because it made me dislike people like Emma Watson, where I'm like, I don't want to dislike her. I love her.
That's a sad place.
It's not her fault that they put her in this awful movie.
I'll start with the bright sides of the remake. I enjoyed their casting of John Oliver as Zazu. Perfect. Sure. And also Timon and Pumbaa, Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner, who's been in Parks and Rec and a bunch of other things. I enjoyed their voice, like using them as voice. Like Timon and Pumbaa, I enjoyed most of what I saw on screen. Like enjoyed that. There is literally nothing else that I enjoyed about the remake. It was pretty spectacular what they were able to do with the graphics, but that actually took us to, I think they call it the Uncanny Valley, where it's where you see something that's not real and it's made to look real, but you know something's wrong when you're watching it. It's more happens with humans, but what I would say with this film, it was the eyes on these animals. They had no life to them, especially Simba sitting with his dying father, with Mufasa. He's supposed to be crying, and he just looks like a random animal looking straight into nowhere past camera, and it has no life, no energy, no nothing to just the animals themselves. It's actually worse than when you hear somebody like a Snoop Dogg narrating the Animal Planet, the lizard trying to get away. You can sense a little bit. This was way worse than that. And then because they went so heavy on realism of the thing of the entire world, you lost all of that color and life that we had talked about before in the animated version. You just lost all of it because they tried so hard to be realistic. And they basically, I think that opening scene was shot for shot the same as the opening of the animated. And it was bad. I didn't care. I didn't have any of the same care and love for the characters, other than just enjoying a few of the voice actor choices.
So why was it such a big hit?
Because it was people going to re-see an animated film of Lion King. I don't know. I don't know why people do bad things.
No, this is the thing that I don't understand. Like I can't think. Aladdin was the only remake that we went and saw in theater. And that was more because it was the only thing in the theater and we just wanted to go to the movies. And that was one where we were like, okay, it's good. Like we really, it's probably like maybe my second favorite of all the remakes.
Yeah.
I think Cinderella is the best of all the remakes in my opinion.
I like The Jungle Book.
See, I still haven't seen that one.
That one was good. That was the first Jon Favreau remake. But
I love the original.
It was fun. It was the Jungle Book. I think I had good feelings about it. Partially because you also had a real kid in the middle of it to kind of
true. Yeah, and so poor Jon Favreau. Yes, I do love him and his storytelling, but did he really? I don't know. Does he have his fingerprints on this?
I will say that this movie was instrumental for what they were able to do on Mandalorian.
Yeah, and
The
you
things
hear
he learned
him,
in this,
you hear
he
him
transferred
reference
over.
that a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think it was positive in that regard, but not in the actual film itself.
So what I'm hearing from you is that there is nothing to move me from my stance of I'm never going to watch the Lion King remake.
You will not regret that. You will not be on your deathbed regretting that decision.
I wish I would have. No, because this is it is a transformational animation film. You know, this was you've got The Little Mermaid, maybe Beauty and the Beast would be included there. And then you've got The Lion King. You know, those were kind of the three main movies that really remade Disney animation.
Yes.
And if nothing else, Lion King just dominated the box office.
Destroyed. It was, I think we've already mentioned that when we did our recap of 1994 a couple episodes ago, but yes, that it was the highest grossing film of the year.
Yeah, not animated film. Film
of the year. So Eddie, are we at a point now? Is there any other things that you would like to talk about this film before we go into actually grading it?
So I would say this watching was Lewis's first time to watch this movie. We had been kind of holding it back just because there's some darker, scarier moments, and we may fast forward a few moments, but he was transfixed, like, but had like this like huge smile on his face the whole time. I should have taken a picture of it because it was quite adorable, where he just soaked it in. He loved it. So yeah, that was a really cool moment. Just kind of see him and not just enjoying the music, but then also those kind of sweeping animation moments that we were talking about. Him just, enthralled with it.
That's awesome. Okay. The moment we've been waiting for. How are we going to grade this film? Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'm going to give it 5.
5 gummy worms or 5 fruit snacks?
So I would not put it on my Mount Rushmore.
Ooh,
which
interesting.
We're going to have that episode.
What was missing? What was that last piece that you needed that it did not provide?
I don't know. Like, I re-listened to the music a lot. But to like rewatch the movie, I don't know if I'd put it there. This will end up be controversial because I will put one on there that I know everyone will hate me for, but that's okay. I'm unique.
That's what you're gonna have.
No, we're making our Mount Rushmore of Disney decade animated films, the 90s. I've already put Beauty and the Beast and Rescuers Down Under on there.
Gonna get really difficult. It's gonna be really difficult. Okay, I'm writing this down so that we can remember later.
I'm gonna say 5 fruit snacks.
5 fruit snacks. And you know what? That's exactly what I was thinking. I was trying to figure out how I was going to have to convince you that was true, but you beat me to it, so I didn't have to.
What did you think I was gonna go for?
I thought you were going to put it on the Mount Rushmore, so I'm okay. There was one extra level. I don't know, because like you still think of it, it's sad when his dad dies, but there's another level of maybe it's bond or something in lacking for me, and like I didn't like tear up watching this again.
I credit it to, I don't think it has story-wise a rewatchability, to the degree some other films are. It is, it's slightly predictable, it's got kind of a, yep, this is going to happen, then this and this and this, which is interesting because The Lion King was actually Disney Animation's like first this to what I've seen on the internet, which we know is an accurate source. Disney's first original concept story. Like, it's not based off of another
That's
original story where, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, all of those are all based off of some source story. Lion King as their first original story.
Gotcha. Yeah, there was something, just that extra little bit that a couple of the other films had going for it.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is why I'm giving it that. Any dad tips?
I do love, though, how we belabored a little bit on, we're giving it 5, 5 out of 5. Like,
we're not giving it the extra level. There's the
we do have
heavenly
this
realm.
6, right? Yes.
You're in the mountaintop, but you are not in the
But we're not like
stratosphere.
deliberating over if it's a 1 or 2. No, it is a 5.
It is a 5.
It deserves all of the accolades that it has gotten, all of the praise and enjoyment of generations. It is the Lion King. Boom.
So dad tips. Thinking about
the dun dun. No, not the dun dun dun. Isn't that a great moment after the Circle of Life and the title comes on? And it goes black and you just see the Lion King. That is a great moment.
It is a great moment.
Just don't want to forget that one.
Yes.
Sorry.
Let's not forget that. Are you okay if I ask for dad tips now?
Yes. I'm being a little sporadic. Sorry.
Oh, all over the place. So
you're used to it.
Oh, yes. So dad tips. I mean, other than the fact of like, don't die so you can see your son grow up. I would say probably have some boundaries between your family and family members that are not great role models. Maybe have a little bit more boundaries.
That's what I was going to say. Like, if you know you have a crazy maniacal brother, keep him away from your kids.
Just come over for holidays or whatever, but don't let them hang out together. Probably not a great.
And don't keep him in the spare bedroom. Like, come on. Like, kick him out of the Pride. Go make him live somewhere.
Should have been gone a long time ago. Eddie, how would this film have been different if Mufasa had survived?
I think you could have had like an epic, Mufasa versus Scar thing kind of going on.
Yeah, we never got that fight because we never got the fight because he just tricked him and then was able to get him while he was weak and vulnerable.
Which is what he says at the very beginning, right? Mufasa is blessed with the brawn. He is the one with the brains, and he does outsmart him. But yeah, I think that still could have been interesting. You could have had a little Mufasa Scar.
Maybe actually we were saved from it because I don't think it would have been much of a fight. It would have been over pretty quickly. So getting a young and upcoming Simba versus Scar was at least that montage. We got a little bit of a montage in there of the fight in the flames and everything like that.
And we love our good montages.
We love our montages.
Yes.
So yeah, I would say that was it. Any unintended moral consequence of this story?
Unintended moral consequences. I can't think of one.
Can't think of one. The moral of the story is go.
What is the moral of The Lion King?
That actually is good. It's not even unintended. It's like what is the lesson that our children are picking up?
Well, I mean, it is a lesson in unguided ambition, right? So you've got I Can't Wait to Be King. You've got Scar. Like, there is the consuming power of ambition, which is, again, classic Shakespearean theme.
Mm-hmm.
Did I sound very pretentious every time I say classic Shakespearean theme, don't I?
Only a little bit.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We love you anyways.
I don't mean to be.
It's funny. It's funny. It's endearing, Eddie. It's endearing.
But you think Macbeth, go back to Rose teaching us about Macbeth and the ambition's
fates.
downfall, the fates. Yes, I mean, that's what I mean. It's good old classic Shakespearean themes here.
I mean, I guess it's got some good themes to it. He runs away from his problems, and then life comes back and tells him to come become who you were born to be. I guess if you're not a king, you can stay in the woods with Timon and Pumbaa. If you're not the king, and you don't have to,
you have to assume responsibility.
The authority. But if you don't have any authority, go stay with Timon and Pumbaa. You're good to go. That's the unintended moral consequence of this film.
No, you do see the don't run from your past. Face what those types of things.
Even face it if it's a lie. If you were tricked, you still gotta face it. Also, don't overeat, because that's what the hyenas did, and that's why they made a bigger deal of it in the live action film, or whatever you want to call it, the newer one, where they kind of said, no, it's because the hyenas, they overgraze, and then that's why they don't have enough places to enough livestock to feed off of. So don't overgraze, people.
I thought you were referencing the line where Timon says, "I've eaten so much I'm stuffed," and Pumbaa says, "I ate like a pig." And
you are
Pumbaa. You are
big. Ah. Well, that's it. The Lion King from 1994. Man, that was great. That was great going back and seeing that. And you know what else is great? The fact that you listen to this podcast, and we would enjoy it so much. We
appreciate you.
Yes, we would appreciate it so much if you would go wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a review, rate this podcast. It helps us so much. 5 stars only. Don't worry about it if it's 1 star, 2 star. We don't care. Leave a review. Tell us what you really think about this. We don't know most of you, so we would love to hear from you. Also, we've got a lot more movies where this is episode 25, and Eddie, we are nowhere near the end. We're
not even halfway through. We're not even halfway through. Yes. So hop on out to our website. We've got honeywemade.com/movies, where you can see all the movies that we are about to do and even review past episodes. We've got them linked out there for you. And next week's episode was one of my favorites as a kid.
So good.
Was it one of your favorites?
Oh, we wore this one out too. It's a theme. Man, I'm so excited for next week.
And it is
Angels in the Outfield. What a slight right-hand turn that we're going to take for this random film that brings so much joy. So much joy.
So tune in next week for that. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Listen.